everyone's loaded in.
Okay, we're live.
Okay. Let's pull this up. Let's get this started. Got a militant Rustviet.
How nice.
Tree. Sack.
That's what he
Tagawa. Interesting. All right, so I'm gonna draw cards starting with then dos unos for a high and then vertical vertigo. So the first card bidding orders.
Can you guys hear him? Is he just breaking up on my?
And night go. We'll do Maximus bid, then vertical, then Azor, and then
All right, where are these cards?
so
Here we go.
our actions and this off. Pull.
Sorry, do I just bid on one or bid on all? of them?
You can take a look
Just
first,
one of any of your choice.
and you're just gonna bid on one.
Okay.
So it'll be the first combination to choose from.
Is Rail breaking up for anyone else?
Okay.
Can you guys hear me?
I'm sorry, how
So
sorry.
as much as you would like to, but the minimum
I
bid.
don't really.
All right. Reconnect to the chat there.
And you can bid two or more, so you pass. Okay.
What? Why is that blocked?
Apparently, pass is a bad word. All right, Azor.
All right.
Two or higher. Okay.
Bidding on
Yes.
Tagawa.
Wow. Maybe that's a new update for TTS. I'm pretty sure I've seen us type pass before.
So
Right.
Yeah, like just 2 days ago.
Maxima has Tagawa
Logan?
innovative at 1.
I'll pass.
All right, so Logan passes. So Tagawa Innovative is taken, and Maximus will take it.
Damn.
So that's done on bidding. All right.
So do I just hit the button
Hey,
now?
Filipino.
So you'll take a
Thanks for joining
seat
the
there
stream.
first. Let me push you there,
Don't
and then
forget to
press the
follow if you
button
want
and
to.
pick Innovative when you're ready.
We're bidding on the factions right
Next to bid is going to be Denki.
Okay.
Choose a combination.
So get 4.
Okay. Azor.
Nice.
See how that Westfield Militant
It's
goes.
good.
It's an amazing
Then
combination.
Logan.
I'll pass.
Okay. So Rustviet 4 goes to Denki.
It's me.
It him. Next to go is going to be Azor's bid.
Sorry, which one?
Uh,
Oh, he chooses. Is that
yeah, he's choosing.
okay? Got it.
So he chose Nordic for patriotic for 0. You can outbid him for 1 or more, or pass.
I'll bid 1.
Okay.
Hmm. 3. Yeah, I'll bid 3.
Okay. So you get to keep Nordic patriotic for 3. Take a seat at blue. and Saxony for free. Just toss these out. Don't need them.
Okay, I'm just gonna run to the washroom really quick. I'll be back in a minute before we start.
Okay. Let me write down the bids on the side.
We'll talk about this in a second when Rail gets over here to my
Oh,
chat. I have
We're not
myself
playing with the.
muted right now.
Are we playing with the expansion? Sorry, the encounter expansion.
No. It's only invaders that's added. That's all.
These bids are very surprising to me.
Sorry, 3 was for Nordic. I got that. Yeah, type that in. Rest we have 4. 3 Nordic, 0 Saxony.
Yeah, there's a couple documentaries about like really older baseball students called like job or where it's not like this really like pure they basically like mecca, you know.
So we got Saxony going first, right? That engineering.
Engineering, I think it is the first to go.
Yeah.
I haven't
So once Yankee gets back,
Start me to hide what's in like my hand.
We're just waiting on Rusviet.
press H.
Ah, thank you.
And is everyone ready?
Yep.
All right. Good luck. Have fun. If you need me, type it in chat or tell me to come over, and I'll show up. All right.
All right.
To game 6.
Is Denki back? Are we
He is
going?
back.
All
Yeah,
right.
we are good. Starting with the trade on Saxony Engineering, getting some oil so you can produce upgrade next round.
I
Not
want to
quite
talk
sure
about
what else.
those bids real quick.
Yeah, the bids.
Are you shocked that everyone passed on Rusviet Militant at 4?
I am pretty shocked that they stopped there. It may be that they don't value it that highly, but I expected Militant to go for at least 10 or more.
I thought so too. I mean,
I'd feel comfortable with it at 15, honestly.
Yeah.
So
it's maybe not the most intuitive board, but it's incredibly strong if you have an idea of how you want to play it.
yeah, and on this table, Tagawa's innovative is probably going to be slow, I guess. Saxony Engineering, it can get the mechs out, but it's going to be low power. I feel like they're also going to be a bit slow. And then Nordic Patriotic, they got to get to the farms first to get their enlists, and then those mechs come out kind of late because it's really expensive.
So Saxony and Nordic are both setting themselves up for an early upgrade, and surprise, surprise, Rusviet produced on their first turn.
Yep.
We got Tagawa here that's looking at moving.
Early move action.
They it's 3 food for them to have an enlist, and they've got the character moved, and they've got looks like they're toying with the idea of putting 2 workers on farm. So maybe they're looking at an early enlist.
Could be. Although they didn't produce or trade before the first move. So it may just be he's trying to move as quickly as possible. And then along the way, he's just going to grab some food. I don't know. Maybe we'll see an early rush to the factory. That would be exciting.
So Saxony's probably going to produce an upgrade on this turn.
Yep. He
What
grabs
are they going
his
to upgrade?
1 coin. Should be 2 coins, I think. Oh,
He He paid 1 last time for his oil,
Okay, I didn't see it then. Yeah.
for his trade action. So he upgraded his bolster and he upgraded his max. Looks like he might
Yeah.
want to be able to trade straight for his max here in a few turns.
Yeah.
See if he goes for another upgrade.
So he's probably going to go aggressive. But if he upgraded bolster, we may actually see some builds.
Yeah. What's Nordic upgrading here? Looks like
Bolster to
they're also
deploy.
going
Yeah.
bolster
They're both going to
deploy,
go
which makes a lot
down
of
that mech
sense.
path. Another produce from Rusviet. No surprise. Wait, is that 3 metal? Question mark? Or is that a trade?
Only had 2 turns.
That looks like 2 produces to me.
Let's check the turn history. Yeah, that's 2 produces. Shouldn't have 3 metal.
I'll hop over.
Alright, while he's doing that, Saxony traded for 2 metal, plus the one they already had from the last produce, gave them a mech. They went with the speed mech here. Solid choice, lets them get to that encounter with 1 move.
Yeah, great start.
Did we get the metal resolved?
Yeah, he's got trade now, so he has 4 total, which looks correct.
Okay.
His
Got the
coin
first
count is
produce out of
4.
Nordic. He's starting to work his way toward probably 5 workers, maybe 8, while getting some metal in the process.
Tagawa produced last turn to get the 2 food. Now he's moving again. He's trying to get out quick. And now he's going to take a look at that encounter.
Would
He
you
also set a trap.
would you have traded once as Tagawa before that first move?
I mean,
Set yourself up for an early enlist, get some power.
it could be, but I think he's prioritizing moving before enlisting. So I think every other round he's going to be moving. So as long as he's not missing anything from the other players, it may not matter. I think he may miss 1 deploy from Rusviet, and he's already missed the deploy from Saxony. That was unavoidable. So yeah, it may if he's not enlisting for mechs right away, then it probably won't matter.
This is a great encounter for him.
Yeah, that is a lot of metal. Where did the encounter go? Oh no, I wanted to look at it. Did he put it back?
No, it's
Oh,
right there.
no, it's
on the
right
side
there.
of the table.
Okay.
I mean,
4
you
metal,
gotta go
2
for the
coins.
metal, right? You gotta get that mech, probably Ronin.
Yeah,
And give
he
yourself
can
a lot
produce
more
deploy
cover
right now,
as you're running
basically.
to the factory.
Got option 2.
Looks like Saxony moved all units to the factory, got 4 wood out of their encounter.
Okay. Yeah, so that'll set up that bolster build. What building do you think he's going to take for that? Early mine?
I would guess.
Or
I would
a
guess
monument to set up for the tier 2 pop? Maybe? I don't know. We
Well,
can
he's
see
not
some
on
spicy.
oil, or he's not on the mountain, which is interesting. So
Yeah,
he may have gotten
maybe
bailed out by an early mine. So
that might be
go
it.
underpass.
Got a trade from Nordic. I think he grabbed oil and metal.
Yes. We're about
1
to see our
oil.
first mech here from Rusviet. Not a huge surprise he went Riverwalk. Also moved another worker down to this mountain. So
Yeah,
that's,
spread 2 and 3.
that means on his next produce, he's looking at 8 workers and 3 metal, so that when he moves across to the farms, he can deploy his second mech. I expect produce and move will be what he does the next 2 turns.
Yeah, it's looking like a very clean start. As long as he has the power to take some combats later.
You don't need that
So,
much power when you have People's Army, do you?
People's Army, yeah, as long as you get those combat cards.
Yeah.
He may not get too many enlists done, depending on how long it takes. Nordic wants to enlist, and he's kind of slow getting to his farms. In fact, they might have some friction there.
Here's an interesting decision from Rusviet. At the rate this game is going, Nordic only has 1 upgrade, which means Nordic has to do another produce. Rusviet does one more produce before he moves across, in all likelihood.
Yeah.
Which means Nordic will get an opportunity to deploy a mech.
Yeah.
If I'm Nordic in this situation, I think about going artillery. Because Rusviet's power is so low and your power is so low that artillery is just huge.
Yes. But what if you deploy before Rusviet does, then you take artillery and then move forward. Then after Rusviet moves to the encounter and they take People's Army, then they could beat you if they want to pick the fight. It's not as fast as getting a speed mech, but seeing that you also didn't take a speed mech as Nordic, the answer to that would just be build my own combat mech.
Right. Well, I would use artillery as a deterrent,
Mhm.
and I would
Just to slow
trust
him down.
that Rusviet doesn't really want to pick a fight. He needs that power for his produces. He trusts his engine,
Yeah.
and I don't think Rusviet wants an early battle with Nordic up in the northeast. I think what Nordic has to worry about is Rusviet pulling a cheap one and just bumping the workers to slow down his game. But if you can get that mech there, and you can get, cost Rusviet essentially what's 2 produces. I don't know. Okay, Tagawa went Shinobi as their first mech, and they have 3 food now, so they'll get an enlist the next time they move.
We see the bolster build coming out of Saxony. Is it the mine? I feel like it is. It's a lot easier than getting another mech out. Yep, there we go. So another thing I'm considering is if there's 4 workers from Nordic and Rusviet pushes them home, they can't produce. They have the 8 workers. So I'm pretty sure as Nordic, I would just go for the speed mech anyway. Because if Rusviet is willing to shove all my workers home, how do they get the popularity back to produce? They have to take they have to take it from the encounter. And do they have enough production to finish their engine afterwards? That's question.
What I'm probably not worried about at this point with 4 workers up there, I think you make a good point. Rusviet's not wanting to bankrupt their ability to produce to bump those workers. It's not worth it. But what I'm worried about, and the sequence of the turns didn't work out. Rusviet made it to the farm.
Yeah.
But what I'm worried about if I'm Nordic this turn is Rusviet splitting his forces between these 2 farms.
Yeah.
Taking the encounter with one and the other.
Yeah, that's what I would have expected to block off the food. Because then Nordic is forced to take an artillery mech just to fight for it.
The only problem with that strategy is you almost cut off your nose to spite your face because, sure, Nordic's game is set way back, but now where's Rusviet getting their enlist combat cards from?
You send the main character to the encounter and you send your mech with 4 workers to the other farm.
Right, but then Nordic isn't doing enlists and you're not getting combat cards.
True. Yeah, you're getting your own from producing this. And Tagawa has food, so he'll probably get some. But another thing to worry about is there's a Saxony sitting with a speed mech and a mine, and he can reach that farm.
Yes.
So I don't know if I would want to be there. Saxony's already at 4 power.
No, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I'm worried about it if I'm Nordic. I'm not doing it if I'm Rusviet. So Rusviet got 3 resources here.
Takes a speed mech. Okay, so I feel like they're not going to be fighting each other because there's a sleeping Saxony just waiting in the wings to take what's theirs.
So what option did Rusviet take? Option 1?
Option 1, combat card and popularity. Oh, it's a far reach for him to get to tier 2. But if he makes it to tier 2, he's got a ton of coin and he's going to have a lot of territory spread with his move deploy actions.
Is Tagawa about to get hit by Saxony here, you think?
Saxony is strong. Tagawa has 0 power. If I'm Tagawa, I'm going to set a trap that really hurts Saxony. So Saxony's got 5 coins. Putting 4 coins down here doesn't stop him from taking actions. It's not too devastating.
Yeah.
So it's got to be the power or the combat cards. And I think 2 combat cards may be enough of a deterrent, because if Saxony bankrupts his combat prowess here, he's going to have a rough game for the rest of the match.
And here's where if I'm Tagawa, I'm wishing I'd gone Ronin. Because I just got 2 power off that enlist.
Mm-hmm.
And if Saxony hits me now with Ronin, we're fighting with equal power here.
Yeah, that is good factor. Shinobi is definitely not a bad choice though, because even if Saxony steps on this trap and spends something to beat him off, I think Tagawa can just move there with mech and main character next round. Next time they can move, and then reset the trap after they win the fight. It's a
Okay.
trade-off.
So we've got the
But-
first mech incoming from Nordic. I'm guessing he's going to go speed. Guessing that you're right.
Oh,
about
yeah,
that.
that's a good point. He doesn't own this medal because it's on a trap.
Oh, yeah, Tagawa left his medal behind. That's not a controlled territory.
So if the players don't mind it, I'm gonna go hop up.
Well, Rail's doing that. Let's check out what we got from Rusviet incoming. In all likelihood, is a produce. Start
Well, not-
getting some food for his enlists. We'll also give him 2 metal, which is not enough for his next deploy. But 6 food is more than he needs for these enlists because his trade action is over his enlist. So with trade over your enlist, all you really need is 4 food to get 4 enlists. With 6 food here, it means he can trade for some metal while he's getting his enlist to make sure he's got enough metal for his next deploy. Solid strategy from Rusviet.
Talking about Rusviet? Yeah.
Rusviet's
He's-
sitting on 9 coin. Nordic's not far behind with 7 with that patriotic board. Gawa's lagging a little bit at 4, and Saxony with the engineering board is at 5.
But remember, Nordic paid almost as much as Rusviet their board. So it's basically like Rusviet has a 1 coin disadvantage, which I think is going to be really easy for them to make up.
Why are they saying blue in chat?
I think he's not allowed to do something. I'm not sure.
Next turn.
I'll go hop over.
He produced last turn. I think maybe he's trying to take 2 turns in a row. He's mixed up. Hey, Smug Skull, we've got Nordic Patriotic, we've got Rusviet Militant, we have Tagawa Innovative and Saxony Engineering, and the bids are over here.
Okay. Yeah, I think Blue was distracted with a phone call. He did a bolster deploy and then immediately started moving towards instant counter.
Yeah, that's what I
So-
was just saying. Is it looked like maybe he was trying to take 2 turns in a row
Yeah.
against the rules, but
Yeah, definitely against the rules.
all right, where are we up to? Rusviet's turn here. We're expecting a produce out of them, 6 food and 2 metal. I was just telling him how he's setting himself up well here because with trade over his enlist, he can trade for metal
Yeah.
because he has a surplus in food.
He can defend himself against Blue. I don't know. Blue has a lot of power with the 7 power, but 3 combat cards. That may be tempting. Let's say Blue has a 5, so he can spin up to 12, and those combat cards are 3s. Yeah, that's a winnable fight, actually, if he really wanted to take that food.
Or
Uh,
if he wanted to,
but he wouldn't be able to hold it because then Red would just come right back.
yeah.
Maybe he baits the fight, but is that worthwhile? I don't know. He doesn't even have artillery. Well, artillery wouldn't help too much,
No,
He's
because
at 1
Rusviet's
power
just
anyway.
on 1 power.
but if you did have artillery and then you hit Rusviet anyway with a bait and dropped him to 0 power, Rustfield wouldn't be able to produce. He'd have to take a trade enlist action just to get power.
Right.
Be,
But that's I thought
interesting.
about that, but that's what he wants to do next anyway, and all that, right?
Yeah, I think so,
it doesn't really cause him to deviate. But it's a hard situation here because it's if you attack Rustviet here and you bluff him, and Rustviet say Rustviet throws some power and some combat cards, well, you can't go and attack him again next turn. You're all the way back at your base. Can't attack him for a while. So Rustviet's got some time to build their power back up, and you've given them a star without having to take a turn.
Yeah, that's true.
Never seems to work well to go for the early disruption against Rustviet, unless you're Saxony and Rustviet takes that farm that's 2 spaces away without their speed back.
So Azor uses the mine to get to the center village and counter, and then he'll enlist after. What does he see? Looks like option 2, work and 3 food. Yeah, that saves him a produce. That was actually really good because he produced to 4 workers on his village, and then now he's managed to land on a nice even 5.
And that food is going to give him an enlist because that's the action.
Yeah, he got the enlist right away. So, yeah.
I mean, if I'm Saxony here, okay. He's going to go with power. Would you have gone with the combat card enlist there?
So you know that blue is about to produce enlist. I think Saxony's cards are already good. I think he's looking to get enough power to just blitz these other players and take them down. Because normally I would go for that enlist.
Right.
His workers are not positioned. I guess he could position his workers later to get onto oil and do the produce upgrades to get more power. But missing this combat card right now. Oh, Nordic moved. Oh, Nordic just moves to this spot. Yeah, to get to the farm.
He was off last time and thought he could go ahead and do that. So now we're at the point where he can do that. The Rustviet trades for 1 metal and 1 food, it looks like.
Okay.
Wisely putting them down on the lower mountain where they're not exposed to attack.
So
Tagawa
the
does not have
play.
Toka.
Yeah, the interesting play for Tagawa is can he get a mech and then put pressure on Rustviet from the other side? Then force Rustviet to defend 2 fronts. Then
Tagawa doesn't have an upgraded move action. And well, now he has workers on metal.
Yeah, he could get that deploy next round and then send as he's moving his main character to the factory, he can send a mech across into that encounter space, maybe.
Because after all, so they let him bring his metal up, it looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tricky thing. It seems like Tagawa should control those territories because they get credit for them in in-game scoring, but they don't control them.
Not during the game.
You can't leave resources there and still spend them, and you can't use trap tokens to complete objectives like Higher Ground or Northern Advantage. It won't let you do that either.
Yeah. Saxony produces an excessive number of workers. He really wants to get that worker star. Then
well, he has the worker star, doesn't he? Yeah.
He just took it now, by producing. It was interesting because he took the worker and the 3. I think the 3 food was mainly for the list, but I thought that would have put him at a nice even number to do some production. But I guess he really just doesn't care about the popularity, so why not?
So off of this enlist, Saxony would be getting a combat card now if he gone a different direction with that enlist.
Right. Maybe that he does not need it. If his 2 objectives are great, and he takes 3 more combat, can he win 3 with 1 fight at a time? Tagawa didn't trap. He's actually ready to get slapped.
Yeah, and he doesn't have Ronin either.
This is a very dangerous situation. I don't know. I'm very interested to see what objective Saxony's going to pull out. Because I don't think Saxony's positioned yet to get those 3 mechs out quickly. but he's got a decent amount of power.
So is
Nordic
deciding
deciding his
which enlist?
enlist. He
Went with the
takes 2
enlist.
cards,
Enlist,
and he's
the-
grabbing an encounter? Question mark? Oh, he already had that encounter. Or did he forget to take the encounter last time when he moved? I think that's what happened. I'll take a look.
encounter. Rail's figuring that out. It's Rustfeed's turn. Rustfeed's actually got options right now.
Alright, so he did get the encounter. He just forgot to take the token off, but he took option 1 for 2 power and 1 pop. That's what pushed him to
8 power.
8 power. He just produced enlist, so I guess it would have pushed him from 7 to 9. And then he went down to 8 this round.
From the 5-worker production.
Yeah. And he's got a good engine for cards now. Rustfiat following up with an enlist again.
It's a little interesting that Rustfeed went with that coin enlist first. I don't know that he got a coin off of that. I think Nordic already had his mech out, and so did Tagawa.
Yeah,
He
he missed out on the combat card.
Yeah, he did. I don't think he got anything for his trouble. Now Tagawa's going to throw out 6 metal right here. He's got to go Ronin here, right? He's just too vulnerable to Saxony.
Yeah. Getting the Ronin down makes it a lot harder for Saxony to jump on the main character. But if you're Saxony, would you go for it anyway? He doesn't have underpass. He only has 1 mech that could reach at this time. So.
Right.
But I feel like he's probably going to move the main character to the factory to block Tagawa from getting there first, and then why not follow up with a softening attack with your mech?
I don't know why you wouldn't. I mean, Ronin might give you a little
Ronin
bit
is
of pause,
+2.
depending on how good you're. And there it is.
And yeah, it looks like he's taking that Ronin. It's a good choice.
Definitely. Yeah, the no trap token is certainly tempting with Tagawa sitting at only.
And a free metal on top?
Well, he'd be at 3 power after the attack. Because Tagawa loses 1 for the produce.
But remember, Saxony did not take the enlist for cards, so I feel like he may be able to just walk in here and take a very cheap combat.
I mean, I think you have to. Rustby is clustered together. Nordic's going to be high power this game because his mat has bolster over deploy, and deploy is his moneymaker. So you know it's going to be hard to get cheap combats out of Nordic. You know it's going to be hard to get cheap combats out of Rustfiat.
Oh, he's opting not to do it, though. It may be too expensive for him.
I don't know where you're going to get him cheaper, though. Unless you're planning to go economy. And he might be. He's getting on that wood, and that's his moneymaker on that engineering board.
I think he's going... I think he needed the mech early, but at this point he's just going to go for bolster builds and produce upgrades, get that power star. So I feel like he's not going to be fighting anytime soon. There's a good chance for Tagawa. Next time Tagawa moves in and maybe hits Saxony on the factory, gets some free power and maybe even a free combat.
I think that if they had managed to make Danke or somebody else pay more for that Rustfiat militant, I wouldn't feel too bad about Saxony's strategy going for the upgrades and the building, because as we saw last night with Rustfiat Innovative, I mean, it ended the game in 12 turns.
Yeah.
But all you needed to beat it would have been 33 coin in 12 rounds. And that's super doable for a coin engine that spreads out just even a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, Nordic had 4 territories, and if he'd had 6, he would have won. That's I mean, it was quick, but it wasn't a lot of points. So
Yeah, it wasn't a decisive win. It was really close.
But we don't have that here. Rusty at Middleton went for 4.
Consider if Black is building and Nordic or Tagawa managed to get that build and list out and get to tier 2, benefiting from Saxony's buildings, then even if Militant Rusviet is able to in quickly, they might not win because Tagawa's territory spread is it's not great, but it's set up to be really good in a moment.
Right now, Rusviet has a 6 coin lead on Tagawa. That's at tier 1, that's 3 territories. At tier 2, that's 2 territories.
I think it depends on how fast Saxony starts pumping these buildings out and whether or not blue and purple can get that enlist benefit from it. But like, let's say purple doesn't, or let's say blue takes the next enlist and pushes his popularity immediately to 5, and then 2 buildings later, he's in tier 2. It's very doable.
Not sure Tagawa completely knows what to do here.
Yeah,
if
I think
they
he was
could have
planning.
known what Saxony's agenda was, they could have gone Toka. And maybe Rusviet would have done something differently, but they'd be in a position to take that encounter token and really give Rusviet something to think about back there with all those resources. But not really an option at this point. All likelihood.
Let's talk about Saxony's factory card. He took 2 coins and power. And he already has that first enlist. It's expensive. He's going to lose a lot of coin, but maybe that he gets enough combat cards to feel some fights. I feel like he's going for the power star here. He's got
gotta
that.
be. He's building buildings.
Yeah.
His bolsters over his buildings. He took the power
upgrade
enlist
first.
He took a factory card that gives him a small amount of power. He's got to be going for the power star. If he wasn't in the beginning, he is now.
Yeah.
Hey, good night, Fife. Having a good night, Pfeiffer. Good to see you. Let's see, who are we on now? Bill Tagawa's turn.
Played last round, so
he's
he wanted to move to the factory, but now he's just going to block off the whole of Nordic and Rusviet. That is a really annoying trap.
Rusviet doesn't care, right? Because he has Township.
He does have Township.
But Nordic, Nordic can get his Riverwalk mech and Seaworthy and get out, but it's going to take both of them.
His workers are going to be trapped. So his workers are committed to just farming.
Well, but if he gets Riverwalk and Seaworthy, he can move to his mountain and then move to that lake.
Okay, true. It's a mess. Yeah, it's not the fastest route.
That's 2 mechs down the road, and you have 1 worker on metal.
Saxony's new encounter. Looking at some coins, popularity, worker, resources. Yeah, I think the worker and the resources. He doesn't need that worker, but I think if he gets that 2 wood, he still has a 1 left over, so he can do a bolster build immediately.
Oh, Nordic's not having it.
Did not enjoy that. And also, yeah, Tagawa is pretty weak. Why not take this combat?
Yes, Pfeiffer. Rusviet's encounter has not been used yet. The one on the Tundra. Ooh, 2 combat cards lost for Nordic. That hurts.
He's got the enlist. I think he'll be okay.
He does. I said that before I looked up there. He starts with the 1, but he got that combat card enlist early.
And he's getting some benefit from Rusviet.
Hey, Knight. How's it going tonight?
So first the traps, then the Ronin will apply, which pushes Tagawa to 3 power. And then, lost 4. That hurts. Maybe, we don't know. This could just be 2 5s in the other hand.
Odds are not good, but yes, could be.
Okay. Then I want to see if they use that Ronin. Doesn't quite look like it. I'm always not sure if I should pipe in or ignore.
Oh, what happened?
Because I feel this is something that people would want to take back. But I typed in, just like, is he using Ronin or not?
I mean, this is a tournament, right?
Even though it's optional, I still feel like in digital edition it would ask you, right? So these are things that I feel people it's playing off of their careless, like, oh, I didn't quite remember to raise that because of the interface, not because of the play. I feel like that's
Yeah.
it's less ideal. And anyway, it looks like he spent nothing. He didn't even get a combat card out of it.
So Nordic threw 2, and I didn't see the cards.
It looks
there
like
were
a
3
0.
there.
Yeah, he spent a 0 and 0 power. That was a very cheap combat for Nordic.
I mean, Sagawa has 2 combat cards. Would you have thrown a low combat card, or if you didn't have
For
one,
sure.
maybe
Yeah.
1 power there?
I don't know about the power, but I would toss a card. Yeah, unless those are both 5s.
Unless they're both.
But I would
5s.
toss. I would even toss a 4 just for the chance. Just take a look. Spending power here. I feel like he needs enough power to do some production, so that was a nice bonus for him.
Right.
But at least get a new card, in my opinion.
Rustfeet's going to pick up that encounter. Oh. Ouch.
Yeah, those exposed workers. So Rustfit at 5 popularity goes down to 2. He'll have enough to do the 1 more produce he might have wanted. In fact, I don't even think he need. Could he trade enlist? Get. Yeah, I think he'd be 1 metal off. So even if he doesn't need to produce, you can take it. He sees combat cards as an option or power.
Yeah, he's
It's
a
not
metal
bad.
short, so he can get food.
No, he's got power and combat cards though. That's good for him, I think.
Option 2 is good for him. If he hadn't bumped those workers,
He could have
go
taken the
option
mech.
number 3, and then he
Yeah.
wouldn't have to worry about that extra produce.
That's the struggle, pushing those workers home. But having 3 workers at home for Nordic, the move upgrade is there. But I feel like Nordic kind of wants to lose a fight just to get this mech home so he can move those workers back.
Yeah.
But not having workers on list, that cripples Nordic. His engine was produce and list, bolster deploy, right?
Nordic does have an upgraded move action, so he can get those workers, all 3 of those workers out with 1 move.
Onto oil or wood, though.
Right, where he can then
ideal.
deploy another mech, but it's still costly for him.
Yeah, and from there, how does he get back to any food? It's a long journey for him.
He doesn't. He's
I think he's got to give up the enlist option as a star.
enlisting. He's only got 1, which is the good news or bad news, depending on how you look at it.
And he lost those cards on the trap as well. So the early advantage that he secured, it's rough. That was an expensive free combat. The combat was free. The consequences afterward was not. So Tagawa produced, deployed, and grabbed Scythe. Not sure how
Saxony's
well.
going for a territory grab here. He's trying to clog up the board. Maybe he's anticipating that Rustviet Militant wants to rush the game.
Yeah.
And the more
Rustviet's
territory he can
pretty
get to
strong.
before Rustviet gets there, maybe he doesn't need the best engine if he can keep Rustviet from ending and install the game.
At the same time, he's also grabbing tons of encounters. And those 3 resources, I think he just grabbed 3 to secure another list. Yeah, he's accelerating his engine with these encounters real quick. Just pushed himself to 4 popularity for the build. Yeah, maybe he'll hit tier 2 after all. This is really spicy. I'm tempted to say Saxony is looking like a possible front runner. Rustviet obviously is the main front runner, but if Saxony can get himself up there, he's going to do another bolster build at some point.
The big thing is Saxony's sitting on 4 coin. Rustviet has 16.
Yeah, but the territory difference is huge. Rustviet's only exit now is really through the factory. And from the factory, I believe Saxony has that area pretty well. I wouldn't say secured, but he has a lot of access to reclaim it if he needs to. He's stronger than Rustviet at the moment. It's just the Rustviet has tons of combat cards.
So
Now-
Rustviet's sitting on 4 territories. Saxony has 9. So that's the territories right now, Saxony holds them about offsets the coin. Not quite, but about. What's Rustviet gonna do next? Looks like he's going for another his final enlist. Nordic's at 9 power now after that bolster deploy.
Is that right? Can't quite tell.
He clicked moves deploy, but it must have been bolster deploy. He didn't move.
How much power was he at before? I think, was he at 6 when he attacked? Yeah, that does look right. Then the trade and list here. Get that star. He needs to secure some metal. Conveniently enough, Nordic is sitting on some. That would be just enough to do a move deploy. I'm surprised he didn't attack this round. He opted to do the trade and list first.
Mm-hmm.
But he doesn't have People's Army. He took. Oh, I don't know.
Nordic went Riverwalk. He didn't go
Riverwalk.
Seaworthy, and he didn't go.
I think he's trying to secure this section. He's trying to get his workers back to the farm, maybe. So he'll fight his way back to the wood tunnel instead of going over the lakes.
That's a lot of moves.
It is. Sure is.
Takes a long time when you can only move every other turn.
Yeah, I'm quite surprised Rustviet doesn't try to fight for that medal. If he wins that fight, he can just deploy immediately.
Well, he's got a game plan here, right? So it's possible that
Next turn, 4 stars? No, I don't think he can secure right now. He can't quite reach. He can get to the factory. Stop there. In 2 rounds, he may be able to secure this with an objective star, deploy, move, combat.
Are we talking about Rustviet ending the game already?
I think it's time. It's a round 13 is what I'm thinking to call. If conditions are good,
Right.
Rustviet can.
You got to have a good objective. You've got to have 2 accessible combats that you can get pretty easily. So what did Tagawa do?
He did a trade upgrade. What did he upgrade for? For buildings and trading for popularity. He wants to get to that tier 2 as well, but it's a long way out.
Yeah,
I don't know if this game's going to last long enough.
Probably not.
Bolster build for Saxony makes him quite strong, but he has that one exposed mech next to the factory. Yeah, Nordic knows that he's in trouble. He's got to get out of there. Rustviet can't reach him there. So the only combats Rustviet can really look at are Saxony's metal mech. Maybe the main character if Rustviet can get to that northern oil tunnel.
Right,
Shove
because
that
Rustviet
first.
cannot invade Nordic's home base, as we know, under any condition.
Tagawa's got a trap under there. I don't know if that matters too much. It's a power trap that might really set back Rustviet's chances of winning 2 fights.
Rustviet's sitting on 6 power, which is not bad at all for a board like Militant or Innovative, where your bolster is over something that you don't particularly want to use.
Yeah, this is the move deploy. Is he going to go for that fight? I don't think he can reach it yet.
No, not yet. If
He
he
has
had
speed.
if he had a mech on that village, then he could.
No, he can just he can run straight through the tunnel now because
Oh,
Nordic
because the
retreated.
trap token's flipped. Good call.
Yeah, he can get there. And I think that's the right play. No People's Army though. And no move upgraded. Maybe he's not confident. Yeah, he can't win this with just one mech. So he'll position himself. Okay. Just bringing the one worker. I feel like leaving so many behind, those guys are kind of stuck. I feel like spreading workers deeper is a better choice.
Pfeiffer, I have never seen a 6-star Saxony turn. I've heard of 5 turns. I know 6 is possible. 6 is actually possible even if you're not Saxony, believe it or not. But I've never heard of it actually happening.
If you intentionally delay your actions, you can set up a 6-star Saxony win. But usually you'll get the stars a little ahead at that point.
You know anyone who's done it?
I think I've seen 5. I don't think I've seen 6 at once. It's usually not a game winning, not a game winning choice to do.
Okay, so let's look at this factory card from Rusviet.
It's producing for resources. That's an odd choice. He doesn't really. Oh, I guess he needed the one more metal, so he could do this to get that metal and some excess resources. Sure. Then, he could not move deploy this round because he did. Yeah. So maybe that's factory move into a fight, then move deploy next round with another fight, mech, and objective star.
Yeah.
That may
You
be
combine
it.
your last produce with a combat star and save yourself a turn, is what he's thinking.
So it's 14 rounds, doable.
It's not a bad play. You wonder if maybe if he waited one turn and gone ahead and done the produce beforehand, maybe he wouldn't have needed to pick up that factory card to get that turn. It's Saxony's turn.
True. Yeah, I'm surprised he went for that move without the metal. I felt like he could have ended next turn. No, he needed to produce and then move to play and then move it because he wasn't in. So I don't know.
He's got
about
2
the
turns
same.
minimum, right?
Yeah, but I think it still applied before because he lost access to Nordic's metal, so he's still looking at either using a factory move or a produce move.
Right. If he'd produced last turn and then moved this turn,
He still wouldn't get 2 combats. So he probably has to do another move next turn anyway.
Yeah.
Got to produce upgrade out of Saxony. He's real close to that power star. What did he produce? The wood? Yeah, the wood next to the tunnel.
It really plays to Rusviet's advantage right here that no one is close to tier 2.
It's close. It's real close. I think Saxony gets 2 more next round with the bolster build. And then from there, if he can get his main character onto an encounter, I don't know if he can reach one. He doesn't have underpass. How does he get that one more?
He could trade for it.
Yeah, he could trade. And he's sitting on a lot of territory. Not a lot of stars, not a lot of coin. But that territory difference, is that good enough?
Well, Rusviet's probably going to end the game on a move, right? So there's a good chance we're going to see Rusviet bump some
I think the only way it
workers.
works is if other people start shoving Rusviet back. I like that Slayton mech from Tagawa, but they haven't really capitalized. They just kind of sat there and kept deploying. But if he had gone in and put some pressure on Red's metal supply, then Rusviet would not be able to finish their deploy. Yeah, secure the factory. Ooh, using factory move.
Yes.
Yes, that's doable.
But
Go to the village, to the factory.
He did not bring a worker with him.
Yeah, he's not picking the fight. Oh, and he stops the build. That's a big setback for Saxony's tier 2 plan.
Yeah.
Looking pretty rough. The 4-bid Rusviet is looking very strong.
I think we're going to look back on the bid as one of the most significant moments in this game.
I think that point when Nordic got that combat on Tagawa, but left the workers behind and a little bit exposed. That's when Rusviet was he took that as the moment to go full aggressive. Because he's managed to set back blue pretty bad, sending workers home, and I think he's done a good job of setting Saxony back now too.
Yeah,
Was he worried
Saxony's
about
sitting
Tagawa?
on looks like 5 territories now, and Rustviet's up to 10. So
Yeah,
Saxony's
Tagawa's
territory
not
advantage
spread.
has completely vanished, and
Yeah.
Rustviet's in tier 1 and plans to stay there, so he doesn't care to bump workers at all.
Yeah, Tagawa's not in a position to spread just yet. He's just still trade upgrade, reduced to playing. This is looking
Tagawa does
very
have an
tense.
upgraded popularity trade action,
Yeah,
but
he needs at least
needs
2 more
use
actions
it
to get up there. Though.
twice, and I don't think he may not have the turns to do it.
Yeah,
But at this point, if you're Tagawa, do you just start alternating trade for popularity and spreading and just hope?
I mean that might get you to second at this point.
Yeah.
He does have a good coin count compared to everyone but red. He can shinobi into red, but he's trying to get the tier 2, so it seems unlikely.
What is Saxony doing? Do you know?
He's deciding where to go with his factory move.
Okay,
He's
so
going to take the enlist,
I thought
so
I
he'll
saw
get
him
the
tinker
last
the
star.
coins out of the supply instead of putting them back into the supply. Did I see
He
that
might
wrong?
not do it. I'm not sure. I wasn't watching careful. He's currently at 9 coins. I think I remember him at 11 a moment ago, but that might have been Nordic.
I could have seen it wrong.
He's debating, is the Saxony factory move a good choice? Because he knows the game is real close to ending. He also knows that he's exposed on that metal tunnel. He needs to get out of there.
Now he's saying bolster. Oh, you know what
Yeah.
it was? I think he was going to. I think he was going to use the factory card.
Yeah. Changed his mind.
And
Went
that's
to go.
why he. No, now he's taken.
He couldn't do the build, but he'll still do the bolster to get that power star.
Okay.
And
So I
then,
guess he changed. He put the 2 coins in. He changed
then took him.
his mind, so he took him out, and that's what I saw.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
You get that popularity up to 4. I think that's right. Yeah, I think he feels like he's about to get attacked by Rustviet, and if he can't get to a safe spot anyway, because he is kind of trapped, and he's got a worker, a trap, and a main character in his way, so he couldn't even escape if he wanted to. No underpass. Oh, foundations. It's pretty late, but yeah, doesn't hurt to hide your objective until you really need to move.
Who has it? Nordic?
Nordic. Yeah,
Maybe
I
the
think
first time he's
Saxony.
had 6 units on a territory.
True. He just bolstered play. Yeah, he didn't get enough workers out earlier. All right, Rustviet with the terror spread. And the combat? No.
Harvest
Just-
advantage, maybe?
So he could not afford to fight yet. Interesting. Oh, but he's got poor Saxony surrounded.
Yeah, this is hard for everybody else because to catch Rustviet, you need 2 things to happen. You need Rustviet to lose territory, and you need to get to tier 2 popularity, but you can't do both. Yeah, we can't deploy a mech on the
On top of another mech. Yeah. So, but if it's here, Saxony's trapped. He
So over the
either he
tunnels, harvest
attacks
advantage.
first.
Do we have an objective coming out right now?
It's the mech star. Where's the objective star? I think maybe he's saving it. No,
Oh, here
he's not.
comes.
Surround the same lake. You got it. The Polania Lake.
Shore up the
Basically.
shore. Yeah, right here.
Got it. All right, 2 combats to go. Can you do it?
This game might go a little bit longer. He's
Yeah,
He's
he's
got
not
the
quite strong
one-
enough.
Does he have an upgraded move action? He does not.
He doesn't.
So he can hit Saxony with 2 moves up on this up on Albion's village. He can hit Saxony next to the factory, but he can't do both.
Oh, but Tagawa's moving out and exposing himself.
Yeah, and Rusviet has a surprising amount of power for this board. He's sitting on 7 power.
There's been a few upgrades from Tagawa late in the game, and it looks like Nordic as well. I feel like we might see a game finish next round if cards are good. Not quite.
Saxony just used his turn to move all 3 of his workers to metal. If that's what he stays with. I mean, this is an opportunity for Saxony to use a triple move to take up to 3 territories, right, with his workers.
But how does it spread? Oh, it moves 2 out of the home base and maybe one of those oil workers to the other tunnel? Maybe.
Right, or move the one off the village to that other tunnel. And you've got he's got a few options, but yeah, he can pick up 3 territories. Now, Rusviet's going to take 1 or 2 of them right back, but probably not the same ones you'd pick up this turn.
Why did Tagawa jump from 4 to 6 popularity there?
I don't think Tagawa had taken the had Tagawa taken the popularity from his enlist yet?
When was... Oh, he just did move enlist. Wait, 2 turns ago. 2 turns ago was trade upgrade. And also, where did that food come from? I'm gonna hop over and count up the popularity from the start.
Where's Tagawa's enlist? About to round 9, we see... Well, in round 9, Tagawa didn't enter in anything. He just hit in turn, it looks like, because it says Tagawa's turn, and then it just... I'm sorry, round 8, it just jumps straight to round 9. Doesn't hit anything here again. Deuces deploys in round 10. Trades upgrades in round 11. Deuces deploys again in round 12. We're back to trades upgrades.
Yeah, I think he got confused, thinking he did an enlist when he actually did an upgrade.
We looked at a few of the past turns here, and it looks like Tagawa's just hit in turn a few times without checking any boxes.
Yeah, that's why I've been trying to get him to type. So Saxony moves. Get some spread. Didn't he move last time? What did he do? I thought we saw him move those workers.
He clicked moves factory.
Yeah. But is this the one where he moved the 3 workers out of his home base?
No, he did that last turn.
Then last turn he bolstered. This is his move. Yeah, this is the move the 3 workers out.
Oh, you're right.
Nordic is now move upgrading. Oh, and it looks like he opted to move 2 workers and move the main character into combat range for red. Interesting.
Oh.
Because Nordic move upgraded, Rusviet's got even more power. He's got 8.
Saxony? Does he get second? Has he done the math here?
I don't know. Why would he move 2 workers on the same spot if that's the case? Yeah, this looks like a very likely outcome, getting hit here. But if Rusviet moves 2 mechs at this time, it's 3 combat cards to win this fight. Then next round he has to hit something else. Probably the main character by the oil. I don't know. This is an interesting play for Saxony to get closer and give him a combat that looks tempting.
I mean, Rusviet has People's Army now, and he's sitting on a boatload of cards.
Yeah,
I almost
he just
would've
has to spend
expected-
a whole bunch of 3s.
I almost would have expected him to hit Saxony in 2 places this turn.
I don't know if he
Bravo.
can afford to win both because he has only 8 power.
Right, that gives you 4 power for each fight, and then I guess you need.
Ooh,
Feel good about it. You would need.
the defensive win worked.
Oh wow!
Interesting. Rusviet didn't commit much at all. He only spent 2s, I think. 3 2s. I guess he was assuming Saxony would just roll over, but
Rusviet
maybe
doesn't
this
have the
is
cards. He can't touch
Yeah, maybe.
Nordic. Gawa's clustered together. I mean, could Rusviet could have hit Tagawa that turn.
He could have. But I think Saxony was a more tempting target because the trap might, I don't know, set coins back, taking a good card out of Red's hand.
So the chat's asking for a tour of the coin and stars. Rusviet's right now sitting on the mech star, the enlist star, the worker star, and he got his objective. It was shore up the shore. So now he's just trying to pick up 2 combats. Nordic's got an objective and a combat, and Saxony just picked up a combat in addition to the worker star and power star. Of course, Tagawa's got his mechs. Nordic's sitting on 14 coin. Rusviet's got the clear lead with 24 coin. Gawa's at 10, and Saxony is at 9. And at the beginning of this game, Rusviet Militant again went for only 4.
4
See the
coins.
bids over here on the table.
Very cheap bid.
Tagawa 1, Rusviet 4, Nordic 3, and Saxony was free. So, second place here. I don't know, would you say right now that Saxony or Nordic is probably in second? Probably Saxony?
I feel like Saxony's got the territory over Nordic and the stars. So I think that makes up for the 4 coin difference, and because Nordic bid to take the board combination. Yeah, I think Saxony's in a clear second spot.
Yeah, Pfeiffer, we were surprised that Rusviet Militant went for 4 coins as well.
So it could just be Azor knows he's not going to win, but he also feels confident he's going to take second. So he's just trying to be in a spot where Rusviet could attack him. But then he defended here. He spent 7 power and a 3, which is interesting.
Well,
Why spend the 3?
I mean, why not, right? Because if
Rather
you
than
think
a
you're going
4
to
or
get
5?
second and that Rusviet's going to end the game, Rusviet attacks you, go ahead and throw what you have. If Rusviet beats you, the game ends, you get second.
Yeah, but
in the
why
next
spend a 3 instead of a 4 or a 5 if you actually do want to win this fight?
And and if you win the fight, you get another star and you create a little bit more distance between yourself and whoever's in third place.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think, what are the other cards in it? Does he have 4s and 5s? Why half commit to the defensive fight? I think maybe spend enough that he feels he can spare. He didn't really need all that power. Sure. And then maybe 3 is his worst card. And he luckily took that win anyway. From here, he's factory moving. I feel like he's going for a fight. Get a star. It is interesting though. I felt, the very last enlist that Saxony is taking is combat cards. He really does not feel like he needs them. So I think he's got 3 5s in his hand. So
if he's doing his factory move this time, he can pick up, well, it's really just 1 additional territory, no matter how you do it.
Yeah.
I was thinking he could take the mech up there to that mine, but he loses a territory by moving it. He's still just got the one mech. He doesn't even have underpass.
Yeah. He doesn't have underpass. In fact, he can't even get. He can just get to the mine and then move to one, and that's about it.
And he loses a territory to pick up a territory. That's not an increase at all.
Well, at least he can pick up the workers and have them on his mech, so the next round he can move to spread those workers. That is a possibility. But maybe he's trying to reclaim that wood? I don't know. At this point, he's probably not planning to finish the build star. He needs 2 of them.
But Rail, I mentioned earlier that when he was moving his mechs out, him being Rusviet, he took this spot with the wood on it and didn't put a worker with it. He took this farm over here, didn't put a worker on it. And we think we know why he did that. He was trying to leave workers behind to shore up the shore. But now he's in a position where on this turn, he cannot capitalize from People's Army unless he's going to pick up that worker on the mountain and hit either Saxony right there or Tagawa. He cannot hit with People's Armies twice this turn. So he cannot. It's going to be very difficult for him to pick up 2 combats.
And Saxony is seeing that Red can't secure this game yet, so he just bolstered. He doesn't really need that power, but I think he just wanted the popularity, and I think Saxony's trying to get that tier 2. If there's 2 more rounds in this, trade for a pop, bolster again, and your territory spread is good. That's I don't know if it's a game winner, but it does put the pressure on Rusviet. Nordic's picking up stars. He's got his last mech. Everyone's catching up. This is turning into a long game, which is not too good for Rusviet.
No.
Because I don't think Rusviet's really gained much coin in the last 2 rounds.
And this is where Rusviet's really glad he got it for 4. Because if he was sitting on a 12-bid or a 15-bid right now,
he would definitely lose here.
He'd be nervous, really nervous.
All right, he's got to get those mechs out to do something. That's how he gets more territory. I'll shove those workers home. Why not?
That's Saxony's glad to see that.
Yeah, that is a good thing for Saxony.
Maybe even better for Saxony than it is for Rusviet.
And look at this easy combat for Saxony. Yeah, he moved the main character in a place where it was accessible. Is he thinking he can win against 2 cards? Maybe Rusviet learned his lesson. He's going to spend a bit more to take this fight. But I feel like these are only good cards left in Saxony's hand. And he just bolstered. Why not spend 7 and 5?
Why not?
Yeah. If you can waste another Rusviet round, that's pretty devastating. So Rusviet would have to commit at least 2 5s and 2 power, or some combination in between. No matter what Rusviet spins, Saxony can take a fight on the factory next round. This is interesting.
I've got eyes on Rusviet. Power.
I feel like Saxony spends maybe 5 power and 5 combat card, and then saves enough for 7 and 5 to take a fight on the factory.
He went for 10 last time.
He did. But he's only got 3 stars. If he takes this defensive star and 1 offensive star next round, if he could close the game while holding the factory, that wouldn't be too bad. But I think he needs the tier 2 first.
Saxony, of course, sitting on 3 stars. Can take a couple combats before this game is over. Can take 3 specifically.
But I feel like he's in a comfortable second place, and maybe if this game drags long enough, then you get that popularity.
It's just going to be hard at this point to overcome Rusviet's 26 coins, even with tier 2.
How do you get to 6 popularity there? I'm going to go ask.
off the bolster, right? With the monument. I think. Let's do a little count here. Rustviet's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 territories. 9, 10, 11. Did we get them all? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 territories. Saxony sitting on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Tier 2 for Saxony means 5 more coins for the 5 territories and 3 more coins for the stars. That's 8 additional territories at a tier 2. He's not sitting on any resources. That brings its coin count effectively from 10 up to 18. Rustviet's coin count is at 26. So Rustviet has, even if Saxony hits tier 2, Rustviet's got an 8 point advantage just comparing his coin to Saxony's territories. And just comparing Rustviet's coin to Saxony's coin and the difference from tier 2. At that point, you compare Rustviet's territories to Saxony's and stars, and Rustviet wins in both metrics. So even with tier 2, I think we're sitting on a significant Rustviet lead here.
Even then? Okay. Trying to do the math on the Black's popularity. I believe he did 2 bolsters with that monument up.
Yeah.
And he started with 3. He got the enlist for 2, so 5 plus 2 more goes to 7, and I think 1 produce action after having the workers out. So 6 seems correct. None of the encounters, I think he took option 2 for all of his encounters. So none of them gave popularity. But yeah, if he's at 6 to get to 7, even if he takes the factory, you don't think he's close? 10 to 26 minus 4.
So right
it's a
now
12
he
point
has.
difference. Oh, yeah, and this is the fight.
Combat's happening.
Yeah, I totally forgot that's what was going on. Oh, he spent 11, so he doesn't want to go for the fight later. And Rustviet didn't learn his lesson.
0 power.
I think it's 1 power plus 3 plus 3, expected 7.
He turned the wheel after he revealed. It said 0 when he revealed it.
I think he intended 1. It was halfway between the two.
Okay.
That's what I thought I saw.
Well, he threw combat cards, so 1 power doesn't actually.
Yeah, and he loses the fight anyway. So I don't think he was cheating there. It's just clarifying it. Interesting.
So now Rustviet's sitting on 10 territories to Saxony's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Saxony would effectively have 9 territories if he hit tier 2, so territories would be almost a wash. Stars are currently a wash.
And he gave the wood to Saxony.
The difference that if Saxony gets 1 more popularity this turn, the territory situation is about the same. He has 4 more coins off of the stars. But Rustviet's sitting on 26 coin to Saxony's 10. So that tier 2 advantage on the stars just cuts 4 coins into a 10 coin lead.
12 coin lead, right? With the bidding.
Yeah. Okay. 12 coin lead.
Yeah.
So
I think taking the factory is a critical piece. Because once you get the factory,
lead for Rustviet.
Because then you drop 6 coins on Rustviet and you gain 9 coins on Saxony. That can make that difference.
But Rustviet won't spend his power. And
he's saving.
Saxony's at.
He's overcommitted. Well, I would have committed. Yeah, I think I would have tried to commit the 10, and that would have still won that fight by chance. Tagawa trade upgrading. He's at 5 popularity now. Is that right?
So now Saxony's going to bolster build. Takes him up to 8 popularity. He's in that tier 2 where he wants.
That's not okay. I think.
Oh shoot, you're right.
I know he really wants to. He would love to be in tier 2, but it's not a valid move yet.
1 more turn.
And red could take that wood right back.
So now Rustviet cannot take advantage of, unless I'm mistaken, Rustviet cannot take advantage of People's Army here. He only has one worker accessible to that.
Oh, he's protecting.
To that
Okay,
farm.
okay, yeah.
He
All
only
right.
has one mech or one worker accessible to that farm. He could factory move. He could factory move and use People's Army against Tagawa. That's his only 2v1 that I see.
And that's still just one fight. He still needs 2 combat stars.
Right.
And there's a trap, which is not combat cards. So if it's like a power trap or a coin trap, those are pretty annoying choices.
And I like Power Trap there because that was an early trap.
Yeah,
Tagawa would
that
have had
was-
his eye on Saxony, been anticipating an attack, and there's a good chance that's a power trap.
Nordic trades for 2 popularity. Everyone's trying to get in tier 2 this game in. Nordic's still got a ways to go, but if he spreads out with the territory to get it, he might have a shot back in this game. This can be pretty close. This game is running way longer than it should.
Yeah,
And
Rusviet's Rusviet's going to fortify the factory here.
he knows he's got to hold it. And also, that's his way of spreading out because he's kind of trapped in that top section. But he does have a lot of territory. Yeah, he's got a good spread going.
And he's setting himself up for maybe a double combat turn next time. He's positioned
Yeah.
right next to Tagawa right now. And
12 territories at the moment, and maybe 2 fights next round.
he might have the cards to take on 2v2 against Saxony as well.
Could be. He's underpaid for every fight so far, so he's kind of wasted some movement on those.
I mean, maybe he has bad cards. Maybe he's. I mean, you try to bluff your way through the first one, and then no one can stop you on the second one. But Saxony hasn't let him get
Could
away
be.
with it.
But I think in hindsight, the right choice would have been stack a bunch of units on one fight and get 3 or 4 combat cards in and just take that win.
And that's where going for shore up the shore threw him off, because it
Yeah.
spread out his units where he wasn't in a position to just overwhelm Saxony with People's Army.
Ooh, Tagawa has a big stockpile of resources. He's just doing the produce trade and he is picking up that popularity. Maybe not in time. He can't enlist, so he needs at least 2 more trade actions to get to tier 2.
So one thing we haven't talked about is the build bonus. Saxony just made a pretty costly error here. He put his mill on that village, which is on top of an encounter token, when he could have put it on that mountain back
The
there
metal.
and gone from
But
being
would he-
adjacent from 2 encounters.
He's currently adjacent to 3.
He's going to move it.
And he knows. Okay. This would get him to 4, which would give him 2 more coins. Every bit counts.
But if he had put it on his mountain in his home base, he'd be
It's +1.
adjacent to 4 encounters right now. He's only adjacent to 3, putting it on that wood tunnel.
He has his monument next to Nordic and Albion, and he has his
That's
mine
2.
next to the center. So that's 3 currently.
Right.
So this one puts him at 4. So you're saying if you put it on his metal tunnel or his metal tile, he'd get to 5? It wouldn't change the outcome.
Are you counting Nordic's mountain twice?
No, I'm not. You have the mine in his base getting the center village encounter 1, and the monument gets the Albion village.
You know what? I was
and
dismissing the center village one is what I was doing, because typically when you're on an encounter, you can't be adjacent to another encounter, but that's on me. You're right. It's a wash.
Yeah, so the difference is 4 or 5. If he can get another building out, then it becomes
Yeah. 1, 2,
and
3, 4, 5.
in that
You'd have
case,
5, but there's no. You're right. There's no difference between 4 and 5. I
yeah,
forgot about
if he can get
the
another building
village
out,
encounter.
then that having it on the metal, having his last building go on the metal will be easier than trying to set one up on that wood tunnel where he's just getting shoved.
It was the 2 pop trap.
Ooh, that did nothing. Okay, unfortunate. I don't know why Tagawa was in there for. If he had known that this would mean nothing to Rusviet, I don't think he should have stayed.
Maybe he was counting on Rusviet to think the same thing we were thinking, that was probably a power trap.
Even so, he had plenty of time to move, to spread, put pressure on Red's resources, and he just chose to stay. I think that's.
But again, Rusvia has moved twice and is looking at only one combat.
Yeah.
He moved the mech from that northeastern village down to the wood tunnel. Going to bump that worker of Saxony's, but he didn't.
So he
bring
lost a
worker with
territory
it.
to gain that and take it from Saxony.
And he didn't pick up a worker, which means, I suppose it means that he's planning on, I guess next turn, I guess after this turn and winning this combat, what I would do is I would take the mech from the village tunnel over to Saxony, and a mech and a worker from the fact, did he lose another combat?
He did. Yeah. I think he's not spending his power. So he's just hoping to bluff his way into the first fight every time. And Tagawa blew his load there. Yeah. 6 plus 5 is 11. So I think Rusvia just spent like a 3 and was it not even 1 power? Maybe 1 power? Wow.
What are we at, round 18 with Rusvia Militant in the game?
Yeah.
This is a long game.
Rusvia is trying to bluff these wins, and nobody's having it. And it's becoming very expensive. Everyone is catching up in score. I think Rusvia still has the lead. The territory, the coins, it's a huge difference. But as soon as these people start moving and get, like, Saxony's already in tier 2. So if he can manage to spread those workers next round and pick up a few more fights, then it's not bad. Why not attack Red on the tunnel?
Here's where having, well, because he could play 3 combat cards is probably the reason. Oh, the tunnel. I thought you said factory.
Red on the tunnel.
No,
Yeah, not
red on the
factory.
tunnel. Yeah. You're sitting on 9 power. It's more than enough. You can attack with 2 units. You have an upgraded move, right? So you can pick up a territory while you do it.
The only thing is, Saxony doesn't have enough combat cards. He never opted to take that enlist option. But I feel like they're good ones. So at least one more fight coming out of here. And then what? What's your play? He still has those objective cards. Shown them. Interesting.
I mean, I don't think... I guess it depends on if he's happy with second here, because I don't think he can pull out first yet unless he stalls the game substantially longer.
If he takes 2 territories from Red at the same time, or maybe 3, ooh.
Don't do it. Don't flip the trap.
Actually, Tagawa spent 11, so he spent 6 and 5. So Tagawa has no power. Saxony has the keys to the game. He can hit Tagawa twice to get 2 stars to end this. Will he still win? That's questionable. He knows that's a popularity trap. He can't quite afford to take that one. Okay.
Yeah. So it would have to be Russ and Tagawa, which he could do.
Yeah, he could win both of those. Well, I think I'm pretty sure Tagawa lays his last trap. So it's either coins or power. Is that something he can afford? Yeah, maybe, actually. He can go down to 6 power and then beat Rusvia. Rusvia hasn't really shown any strong cards yet. Maybe... Oh, that is a huge pool of resources. And he just brought them into range.
Tagawa did not lay a trap.
He did not, and I am not going to remind him because I think this is an important moment.
It's too late in the game. It's way too late in the game. I mean, if it's the first turn in the game, second turn in the game, and you don't lay a trap,
when it doesn't affect the decisions of other players, but this is a moment where somebody can attack him and wants to, and I should not. Yeah, I can't interfere with that.
Can Saxony triple move this turn?
He's got factory if he wants.
Or
I'm not sure if he wants.
I'm sorry. Does he has? Yes, Pfeiffer. Tagawa has Ronin. He has all his mechs out. Is Saxony's regular move available to him? I don't.
It is. He
marker.
bolstered built last round. If you check the chat, so if you hit enter
Right, that's what
twice,
I'm
it'll
looking
open
at.
up your chat. And you can extend the chat window at the top right, so you can see further up. It blocks more of your view, but it is. Right. But yeah, Saxony bolster built last round, so he is free to run amok. Is he thinking of trade though? Trade. I don't know.
Why would he trade?
Is he hoping to get that last building? Does that help him that much?
I don't think so.
I figure getting the enlist star and a combat star here is the right choice. But he can't win if he
Tier 3
does.
is out of reach, right? He's can't hope to get to tier 3 without a factory card with popularity, or
unless he's trading for popularity and then bolstering, just stalling even longer because Red's
no, he's
struggling.
He's going over to well. He selected move for a moment. Now he's back on trade.
Yeah, it's interesting because Saxony can end this game and he doesn't quite want to yet.
He's laboring over the decision, though. I see that cursor floating, but he did it. He traded.
He went for the popularity. I think he's going for tier 3. He's going to bolster and trade until this game ends. I don't know about that one though. I feel like this is the right time to maybe just hit Rustviet, take one territory, and get the 2 stars, and hope that the star difference makes a big difference. He'll definitely be second, even if he's not first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So Rustviet would have 10 territories minus 1 if Saxony takes it from him.
What is Nordic doing? Nordic is trading.
Yeah, he wants to get to tier 2, trade for popularity. That's what everyone's doing.
Never seen so much popularity trading in a game.
This is Rustviet's game to lose. What's gonna happen?
Gonna move.
Even now, he still has to get 2 fights. He can't end it this round quite. Oh, he can.
He can hit Tagawa twice.
Okay, that does work. And he's gonna make sure it works this time.
Yeah.
But the thing is, he's attacking Tagawa twice. So the Ronin applies twice.
He's losing a territory to do it.
He is losing territory. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, he'll still land at 10 at the moment if he wins both fights.
He had these 2 over here.
Yeah, I think I
so
disagree.
He's gonna pick up 2 and lose 2, so it's a wash.
I think I disagree with Saxony's last choice there. Just closing the game, getting 2 stars over Rustviet and 1 more territory over him may have. I don't know if it would have secured the game, but that would have given him at least 11 coins. No, it's a 13 coin swing, and that might have been enough to tip the game. So if we can add 13 coins to Saxony at the end, that would have been a game changer.
Both on top of that one. Rustviet actually, people on stream saw this a second ago. Rustviet actually set his power dial and set his cards out with his combat zone revealed.
Oh, didn't care. So this is 7. But Tagawa has no more combat cards. He spent on the first fight. Why? Alright, well, I think that's game. Let's hop on over. Yeah, I can tell.
The
You
entire game.
kept trying to bluff these fights out, and nobody would have it.
I had to take their power down before I actually won a fight.
So to end the game, I'm gonna press 3 over the echo, and then end the game. Gotta click the end game on the same thing.
Oop.
And drag that out. Press 3 over Robowalk and count up your scores. I really thought Sax closed this game with the factory move.
I had
I
such
thought so too. He had it.
I had such a dominating presence in the beat, and then you took my wood, and then it was all downhill from there.
But I feel if you had factory moved from red, that'd be
Hey, Pool of Class, you're just turning in. We just finished a tournament game, and everybody's calculating their scores, so we're joining them for a little bit of discussion about the game.
why are we still hitting the end game? Oh, we need to move that out of the way.
Sorry, how do I get that
Yeah.
little thing?
Yeah, it shouldn't be there. Let's move that thing out of the way for you. Okay. Now press 3 over the Riverwalk card. There you go.
3 over the. Oh, okay.
It's this 26
Good to know.
coin here from Rusvia that's going to be really hard to overcome.
I only have one resource that I can see, right? I can't see any others. Oh no, I have
Red
three.
has 2. Oh, 3. Yeah.
Okay, so 2.
Tagawa swimming.
Hey, T.Y. Ewing. $65.
Strong.
Yeah.
Minus the 4 after the bidding later.
God, it's so terrible. Fuck.
8. Yeah, if you could have hit tier 2, that would have made a huge difference with those resources. But your territory spread was pretty slim. 12 plus those, that looks right.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting her to kill me in that turn.
Oh, 2.
Because I would have got 2 stars.
49.
Well,
That would be close. If you had 13 more.
yeah.
So
I'm
Rusvia
disappointed with that.
could
No,
have
you
bid
would
16
have
this
one
game.
because Rasviat wouldn't have those 2 stars.
That's right.
Yeah, I think you squandered your chance there.
I just looked at the coins and I was intimidated.
Tier 2 though.
Yeah.
And then Nordic.
Yeah, I mean, I was expecting him to do that
5.
for like a couple turns already. Just the
Yeah,
factory and
I was planning on attacking you, but then you had those 2 workers. I wanted the factory most of all, because then that would guarantee the win.
Guaranteed with the factory for sure.
Yeah.
15 plus
But I just really wasn't sure if I could have gotten it, because I know it would have been close.
So if you can't see it on the screen, the final score was Rusvia Militant 65. He bid 4, so he's at 61 total. Tagawa came in at 28 with a low bid. Saxony Engineering got second place with a 0 bid at 49. And Nordic Patriotic is at 35 with another low bid. So the ending point spread was Rusvia by 12 coin.
to hear what you guys have to say about my
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a lot to talk about there. it was interesting.
I'm sure. That was fun. So then it's 1 game tomorrow, and then
One more game tomorrow, and that's the end of round 1. And then we will need to start scheduling. But I want everyone who's in this tournament to update their times for next week. And now that we're all used to GMT, you can make that calculation. Hopefully,
one suggestion is use
Sure.
use a 24-hour clock if you're going to put it in GMT, just so you don't have that midnight issue.
That would be smart. Okay. Yeah. I was also thinking of just putting sample times, like Pacific is this, Eastern is this, whatever Thailand's time. Yeah.
Like 0 is
Yeah. I'll make that change. That's a great idea.
Thank you.
all right. Well, thanks for moderating, guys. That was I swear you popped in here a ton on stuff that like none of us caught. That was
Good game though.
Thank you.
you guys.
Good game, everyone.
Thank you. See you guys soon. Okay.
When you guys get that VOD out, can someone PM me it?
I will. I've been posting each one in the streamer chat.
Oh, okay.
And I pin them so you can always find them.
Yeah, it takes a little bit for the video to process, but it's going to be on YouTube as well. And one of the benefits of watching it on YouTube is you can actually speed it up to 1.5 speed. And,
you can speed up to 2 on Twitch as well.
Yeah. Oh, at 2 speed, I can't understand anybody, but
okay, I can.
1.5
It's like
is
that
about
lecture
the
trick.
perfect point where I can still follow what people are saying, but that may just be a me thing.
Yeah, I'm disappointed with how I had handled that. Look at my objectives.
Yeah, I was wondering about your objective.
such a
Why
long
wouldn't
time.
you just?
I was going for a big, but then he took the wood, and then it was all gone. And because
But you don't
I
need the
basically,
wood. You managed to get to tier 2.
yeah, I really wanted tier 2 just because he was obviously not caring about popularity.
Yeah, and he wasn't
if I
finishing
got
the
to
game.
tier 2, then that would give me an. But yeah, I just stalled out way too long, and then
Yeah.
he was able to get purple to spend everything, and then purple didn't spend
When you
it
got
wisely.
the
He
free
only
combat
did
here, and then the free combat here, I thought, okay, this is your chance because he's wasted enough turns for you to get to tier 2. You just take one territory from him, and it's like the star difference because he would lose 2 stars, you gain 2 stars, and he loses a territory, you gain 1 territory. So that's at least plus 8, plus 11 for you, and minus 8 for him. And so I was looking at your coin count. You had at the time it was 10 to 26, but now you have 12. So he bid 4. Then he's actually at 22 to your 12. It's just a 10 coin difference. But he would lose the 8, and you gain the 11. So then you just look at the territories, and it was close. Like you had a good amount of territory. I feel that may have been a window to win. Yeah.
Yeah.
It just sucked that your workers were like isolated. You couldn't really move them around. You didn't have underpass to get your mech out of
that
here.
was the worst part. That was the worst part because I had all these mountain spaces, and I'm like, I could be doing so many things if I had under. But
we also questioned why did you move 2 workers to here rather than 1 worker? To claim more territory if you think the game's about to end. Especially if you could end the game.
Yeah, that's just me being dumb and not recognizing things.
Okay. And you didn't even go for the enlist for combat cards. You must have some amazing cards in hand, right?
No.
No. Like you missed the chance to get booze enlist.
Yeah.
Azar, you almost won this game with all these disadvantages. What happened? That's really funny.
I squandered every chance, dude. I don't know. I wanted to do this, but then I was gonna go for the combat and get the enlist too, and I'm like, all right, that sounds good. But then the move, I was worried because he had People's Army, and on this base or something, which was I was gonna attack here or something. I couldn't have gone there because he'd have 2 cards to mine, and he stayed at a constant around 7.
Yeah.
Just using cards.
Yeah.
Going based off cards, and so I was worried. Maybe he'll just beat me just because he gets more cards. But I don't know.
It turned out neither of you had good cards.
Yeah.
It was really funny to watch the. He just lost to Tagawa. It was like. It was an exciting game.
We couldn't hear
it.
Danky earlier. What was he saying about his combat cards?
What was he saying?
Oh yeah, what was Dinky talking about during those fights?
I thought when we
What do you
joined,
mean
he
by,
was
like,
saying
talking
something
about?
about his combat cards, but he was really quiet, and I don't think we could hear it.
Oh, he didn't get a single 5 the whole game. He had all those cards, he had no 5s, and so he just didn't feel confident in any of those fights. So he was trying to bluff a lot of power out of those players. Like he managed to get Tagawa to spend the power, and then afterwards he could hit Tagawa again and in the game finally.
That's a Saxony tactic right there. It's recipe.
I had no other way to end. I had no 5s. I had 12 cards.
Oh, you're still here. You're just really quiet.
Back in because I was listening. Hold on. Is that better?
It is.
That's
Yeah.
much better. So
Yeah. So I had no 5s the entire game, and I had 8 2s. I had 1 4 and no 5s. And 12 cards.
when you spent 3 2s on that fight on the wood, I was just like, that's very odd choice. 3 2s, not even a couple of 3s or 4s just to guarantee it. And it was like, oh, I think his hand is garbage. I think it's actually garbage.
Yeah, it was really disappointing. Because that game could end at 4 or 5 turns earlier.
I thought you had a 5 sitting back there, and that you were just trying to bluff these out.
I mean, I was trying to bluff him out, but there was no 5.
Yeah, I just figured.
And then Tagawa kind of just fell into the trap of using all of
Finally.
his power.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay.
We were so sad when we saw this popularity trap. It's and he's
I know,
the main
I was
character
too.
here the whole time. So I felt like he was confident. He's standing here because he wants you to come.
Yeah.
And then he showed the popularity trap. I was like, well, that's not a power, not coins. Either one of those would have been great.
Yeah, either one of those I would have been happy with, and then attacked him. But it was popularity. I'm like,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's so nice. Thank you. How nice. I appreciate the pop one.
Great game, though. I loved it.
All
Yeah,
right,
that was-
guys.
It's
I'm gonna
very
kill the
fun.
stream,
Very
but
wet.
have a good night. Those of you watching, the video demand will be up pretty soon if you want to see the whole thing on Twitch and on YouTube. Thanks very much, guys. Have a great night.